Welcome, everyone. I'm Matthew McKenzie, and I raise awareness of families, unpaid carers, especially coping and supporting someone living with long-term illness. Now, as of this video, it's actually National Grief Awareness Week 2025. Every year, there are thousands of people in the UK who face one of the hardest experiences anyone can go through, and that is grief. And with doing National Grief Awareness Week, we can shine a light on something many people struggle with, usually in silence. This is the need for understanding, compassion, and a form of proper support. I'm aware that the theme for National Grief Awareness Week is growing with grief. I think the idea behind growing with grief is that after loss, it's quite usual that we may not actually return to what we were before, and instead grief can actually become the ground from which growth, renewal, and transformation actually begin. It doesn't have to end with grief. A bit more about National Grief Awareness Week 2025. It is promoted by a few organisations, one of them being the Good Grief Trust, which is led by that, and through that trust, many organisations and support services across the UK come together to support that campaign. We also have another organisation, just giving out some examples of the others. We've got At a Loss, which is also promoting that campaign, and they help people through grief by helping them access counselling, local services, community groups, and resources that make that journey just a bit easier. So just to know, I've been through grief, I'm still going through it in some form. What does it actually look like? Because some people think it's just sadness, and I think it's a lot more than that. It affects the body mentally and physically. It's exhaustion, can be confusion, and it's probably trying to rebuild your life, to be honest, while the world continues around you as if nothing really has changed. But for those going through grief, so much has changed, especially if you're actually caring for a loved one, and the grief that can come with that kind of emptiness. There are different forms of grief. Obviously, most tend to know about what happens if someone passes on, and therefore you have that form of grief. But because I'm raising awareness of those caring for someone with long-term illness, there is a form of which is grief before someone moves on, and basically you're witnessing the long-term decline of someone you're actually caring for. And obviously, since I raise awareness of carers and families, I would include them in my awareness video. Just to know, unpaid carers, they give so much of their time, their energy, and unfortunately their health as well, their financial stability, and even their own emotional well-being to support the person they love. Unfortunately, when a person dies or moves on, the carers world can actually completely collapse. That's happened to myself. They don't just lose the person they care for, they actually lose their role. They lose the role as a carer, they lose their identity, their routine, and their purpose, and sometimes even the community around them. Too often, though, unpaid carers are forgotten, both during that caregiving role and even after the loss. So, another aspect of this awareness video is we should also try and focus on those that are left behind, those people who are quietly carrying grief often every day. This could be parents, children's partners, and friends. Even people who go to work, sit on the bus or walk down the street. They may look fine, but while inside, they are actually doing everything they can just to keep going. So the last bit really is my call to action for National Grief Awareness Week. It should remind us that no one really should have to grieve alone. If you're struggling, do reach out to those organizations that I mentioned at the start of my video, and I'll put those details in my YouTube description video. I feel you deserve it if you're struggling. Don't put it aside. And also, if you know someone who is grieving, or someone who spent years caring for a loved one, do check in. It could be a message, it could be a phone call, or just simply saying, I'm here. And it can mean a lot more than you actually realized to the person providing that support. And I'd like to say thanks for watching my awareness video. I'll see you again soon. Take care of yourselves.